Counselor? There's a raccoon stuck in the vending machine.
That's so annoying. I wanted a snack.
Welcome to Trail Mix.
Our mini episodes from Camp Counselors podcast.
Each week, the stories come from you, our Camp Shady Birch campers.
We want to hear your juicy gossip,
Top secret confessions,
embarrassing and scary stories,
and sprinkle in our sage counselor advice.
Trail Mix is for the campers.
And God, do we love ya.
Hey, happy campers!
Welcome back to Trail Mix.
This is our mini episode where we read listener-submitted stories brought to you by listeners like you.
Thank you.
So, campers, I know we have been talking a lot about pop culture, things that are on TV and all of that fun stuff, but I've kind of been making it a little side mission of mine to catch up on a lot of the Y2K, early 2000s, late 90s, mostly rom-coms that I feel like everybody loves that I just missed for some reason.
Well, I feel like you're doing more than that as a mission. I kind of feel like you're catching up on the cultural phenomenons. Because last year, if you remember correctly around this time, was your Twilight adventure.
Yes, it was. And I watched all of them and I was like, wow, people should watch this. And it was really just me who was 15 years behind.
Well, there's something to say about when people like something in a mass amount, like it's got to be pretty good. And if one of you out there is thinking Game of Thrones, shut your mouth right now because I'm never going to do that one. But like, I'm glad you did Twilight.
I had also just watched Along Came Polly, which you watched the first 10 minutes with me and then you got bored and went to bed.
I've seen it so many times and it's not one of my favorites, but I kind of do feel like you pass it so much and you recognize the cover and you just had to see it.
I had to see it. I remember seeing the movie poster so much that, and my next one on my list, what the fuck is it called? I think it's Cameron Diaz. Her hands are on her knees and she has that bob cut and there's wind blowing through her hair. And I thought that was Along Came Polly. But Along Came Polly was the one with Ben Stiller and Jennifer Aniston.
If you ask people Along Came Polly, the first thing they're going to say about it is the movie with the ferret. The ferret was like the big kind of joke. I loved that movie growing up because I thought that's what New York was. I thought you lived in a boho chic apartment. I thought you went to Indian places and ate with your hands every single day. And you were on the dirty streets and you wore low-rise jeans and some sort of mixed pattern top with a gorgeous blowout. And you just walked the streets with your bangles on. Like that's what New York was. It was Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston plays the same character in every movie so well.
She really does. Like,
well, I don't know. Jennifer Aniston. She's like bubbling. Bobbling. What's the word?
Babbling.
She's just
Babylon.
babbling. She's so Babylon.
Yeah.
Babble for your life.
We watched that and it was like, I get it. It's like, it's fine. It's a fine movie, right? But it's not fantastic, movie. But I don't regret seeing it. And if it was on TV, when I happened to be watching cable again for some reason, I would pause. I would take pause and take it in.
It's such a TBS classic. I love Ben Stiller, and the next one I really want you to watch will be Meet the Parents and Meet the Fockers, because I think those are really funny.
Something About Mary.
Oh, Something About Mary and Along Came Polly. Like, look at the way that the words are set up. Like, I get why you would confuse those two. I've never seen Something About Mary.
A lot of Caucasian people on the covers of all of them. They all start to blend together.
The one I want to see that I've never seen, that I've seen the cover a million times.
Yeah.
What will be the one about Muriel's wedding, and it's Toni Collette.
Oh, is that Australian or do they just have Australian accents?
It's Australian. She's Australian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I still want to see it. Apparently it's very funny. And I literally love Toni Collette.
It kind of has a similar cover to the Mamma Mia cover.
But
it was before that.
It was before that. And that's Australian too.
Oh, how interesting is that?
I think I made that up.
Well, Eurovision. I don't know.
I thought you called me a vision.
You are a vision too,
but babe. You said Eurovision as in the competition show.
Eurovision, but see, you are a vision.
I'm a dreamer. I dream a lot.
So the other movie I had not seen, you had also not seen. So we decided to put our noggins together and watch Eat, Pray, Love.
It was one of those movies that if you hadn't seen it, and if you're a camper who hasn't seen it, like, you know what it is because it almost has become a verb. Like, I'm having an Eat, Pray, Love summer. Like, it just means like getting in touch with yourself. Like, it's funny how that book and that movie have such a presence in culture that we understand what it's about, even if you haven't seen it.
Obviously, I knew about it. I had never seen a trailer for it. I had seen the posters for it everywhere. But what I did know was that it's kind of like a traveling situation to find yourself. I don't know what she was running from or what she was running to, but I knew by the end she would find herself. So that's kind of what I expected. And I'm going to be honest, campers, I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. I really didn't love it.
Jonathan, ask yourself why you didn't love it.
For campers who don't know, it is based on a book, which is a true story, allegedly. My question is, this is so fresh. I know nothing about this woman. I have no clue any of this. Listen to me backtracking into a corner, but I'm going to come out and say it. Who fact-checked her? Is this a true story?
Jonathan's forgetting one critical detail here.
What?
Who played the titular character, and this is why you don't like it. You're digging your own hole here. Stop pretending that you like Julia Roberts. You clearly hate her. You hate everything Julia Roberts has ever done. OG campers know you hate Julia Roberts. We have a whole episode dedicated to you thinking that she put a hex on you. And here you are again, your 19th time on Camp Counselor's podcast, shitting on Julia Roberts. Just keep doing it, babe. Just How did you not like the movie? Yeah, it wasn't like Gone Girl, or it wasn't like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, shocking, but like it was a nicely filmed movie with a big budget. They had to film in like 5 different countries. You just hate Julia Roberts.
I do have a note on my iPad that says, had they
cast who? How'd they cast who? America's sweetheart Julia Roberts wasn't good enough for you? Who did you want? The girl who played Hairspray? Nikki Blonsky? Would that have been better for you?
No,
Nikki Blonsky and Eat, Pray, Love?
Problematic. No, no one. I just think it had nothing to do with
fresh.
her. I don't know. My question is who fact-checked her? That's really what it boils down to.
Does it matter at the end of the day? It's a really great sentiment.
Well, it's like A Million Little Pieces. That book with the sprinkles all over the hand on the cover. And it was like a Oprah's book club and all that shit. And then it came out that he lied.
God forbid we ever watch Slumdog Millionaire, because you're not going to believe that movie at all, because that movie's unbelievable.
Is it real?
I think so. But you're not gonna believe it. You're gonna be like, who fact checked? But you can't fact check everything.
No, but I feel like that would be foolish of me, because I don't know everybody's perspective. But I'm sorry, when it comes to a Caucasian woman with a great selling book and she's going to other countries.
You're being fresh.
I am being fresh, and I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop, and we're gonna get into our. Can we get into our stories before I want to say one more thing? Yes.
That was playing at the movie theater when I first started working. It was one of the first movies that played there.
Did you enjoy hearing it from the hallways?
No, but I just think it's interesting when I see movies like that, and it brings me back to a different time in life. Like, I was also working at the movie theater when the last Harry Potter was still there. Isn't that crazy how long ago that was?
That is crazy. But I feel like Eat, Pray, Love was much longer ago than it actually was. It wasn't that long ago.
Well, I think the book was so much longer ago, but the movie wasn't that long ago. The movie was like 2009.
That's true, I guess.
Anyways.
But yeah, I could go the rest of my life without watching that again. Thank you. Anyway, let's get into our stories, yeah?
Yeah, I have a camper dealing with a screamer.
A camper on a terrible date with a major celebrity's son.
I'm just going to read you what I wrote because it doesn't make sense, but it says, a camper who was asked to become a cinematographer at the most unlikely of places. I can't figure out how to rewrite that, so that's what you're gonna get.
You're gonna have to listen to the end of the episode to find out what that means.
Who was asked.
And a mortifying bounce house story that would have me wanting to bounce off the face of the earth.
Oh my god, let's get into it.
Are we qualified to be giving advice? No. Are we gonna do it anyway? Absolutely.
Welcome back to Dear Counselors Campers. Time to give you some fat, juicy advice. Greasy, even.
Okay, let's give you some greasy advice.
That was stupid of me to say. I'm ashamed of myself, and I no longer wish to be perceived.
You need a paper towel.
Yeah, so put a piece of cloth over the screen if you're watching.
And just close your eyes. Put a napkin on top of your piece of pizza.
Oh, I'm sopping up the grease. Honestly, I don't blame them. If you have IBS, you should sop it up, because that's just basically like liquid nitrogen for your colon.
No, the people that I'm talking about were doing it and like wanted, it was part of the look at me. It was like the hand pat down, and it's like, so how was math class today? And I'm like, I see what you're doing. You want to, yes, you're patting the grease off, and I'm not. You are better than me, Courtney.
So they wished to be perceived.
They wished to be perceived, which is quite the opposite of what you are. Anyway.
Well, this one goes, hey, happy counselors. I need advice. I'm 26 and currently live with my best friend. Let's call her Jill. Recently, Jill got a new boyfriend. Let's call him Matt. He is nice, easy to talk to, and seems to treat her right. He leaves the toilet seat up, and I always find dried piss on the edge of the toilet.
Oh, God.
But that's not what I'm writing about.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that. She just wanted to say that. She's like, hey, I'm just going to say this.
She's pissed off.
She's got a vent. You see, my dearest counselors, Matt has turned Jill into a bit of a screamer.
Oh.
I mean, I'm glad she's getting dicked down, but every time he sleeps over, I know I'm going to be kept up. Okay. I work weekends and they both have Saturdays off of work. So he will come over every Friday night and the two of them will be going at it around 1 a.m., sometimes 2 a.m. with Jill screaming like a banshee.
I love that.
She has had flings before and this was never an issue. So I know she's really putting on a show for him. There's no way in hell that she doesn't know I can hear and she knows I have to be up early for work. It just seems rude and disrespectful to me. I'm so not confrontational. It makes me cringe just thinking about it. Plus, I feel like if I bring it up, it could make things weird between Jill and I obviously don't want that. What do I do? What do I even say? Signed, Tired and Haunted from the Banshee in Cabin 9.
Well, Camper, I'm sorry. This is annoying. And Jill, congratulations. I would say just be for real with her. Like, we're adults. How old is she? 28?
She didn't give me her social, so I don't know.
Okay. I thought it said at the beginning.
Oh, no, it did. I'm sorry. I'm being fresh. This is 26.
Okay. So we're adults. So I would just be like straight up. You don't have to be a bitch, but think about what you're going to say before you're going to say it. I should take my own advice in this, but just, go to her and be like, hey, you're keeping me up. I'm glad you're getting dick down, but could you keep it down?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think she is performing. I used to live with these two lesbians who, I don't know if that factors into the story, but that's just the truth of the matter.
I have a story too about lesbians.
They would literally like guttural scream. And I was like, are you trying to, like, it was weird to me. I think it's weird. I think in a moment of true euphoric state, you can't control yourself. But there's no reason for anyone to be audibly screaming the entire time unless it's somebody's kink there. So maybe he's into that, but either way, be into that at a normal hour or just have the courtcy to go to his house. Where does he live? Let's switch off.
Don't involve me in your kink.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to get up tomorrow.
And you have a real valid reason. You have to work, contribute to the rent that you both pay for. I would say it in a really fun, playful way. Be like, girl, what is that screaming? Or maybe record it and play it back for her.
Oh my God, literally just text about that is such a good idea. Then you don't even have to say anything.
Yeah, but I understand the fear of being confrontational because you don't want to make it weird, because one thing about that with living situations, the minute it gets weird, just don't renew the lease because you never fix it. So keep it playful, keep it cute, but be honest because you deserve a good night's sleep.
Get out of the water and onto the dock. You're not going to believe what I just heard.
Welcome back to Gossip Doc. We're gossiping, we're whispering, we're talking about other people. Yeah. Hey, sassy counselors. Let me start off by saying that this story may be better suited for Patreon given the nature of the celebrity connection, but I'll let you be the judge of that. Now let's get into it. Okay. I was like, you know what? We should save it for Patreon, but I was like, okay, fuck it.
Just don't give anything away.
Got it.
Yeah.
The year was 2011, and I was young, innocent, albeit a little boy-crazed 16-year-old girl. My brother had opened a completely vegetarian restaurant in our small city's downtown area, but being a bit too ahead of his time, he unfortunately had to close down after about a year.
Oh.
On the day that he had to move everything out of the restaurant, many of his friends, family, and supporters, myself included, gathered at the restaurant to help clear things out. Amidst moving all the boxes and equipment, I couldn't help but notice a particular older boy was present, one whomst I immediately decided I needed to meet. So our camper goes on to tell us the very famous band that this teenage boy's dad was the lead singer in. Every single camper out there knows this band. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to, we'll keep that undisclosed.
Disclosed? Disclosed.
We're going to keep that disclosed. What a dumb word. Undisclosed. It was their lead singer's son. It was well known that he resided in our town since that's where his dad was from, and I recognized him immediately. Fortunately for me, he was extremely outgoing and struck up a conversation with me first, which eventually led to us exchanging numbers scribbled down on napkins. That's like so cute. That's so Along Came Polly. Over the next few weeks, we exchanged a few texts and decided to make plans to hang out. Being relatively inexperienced with boys and very shy, I decided it was best for our first date to be in a group setting, so I invited him to a drive-in movie with some of my friends. The night of the movie, we arrived separately, so he parked on his own and he came to meet up with me and my group in my friend's car. Since I really didn't know this kid at all, I was extremely nervous at how he might act or if my friends might judge me. That is kind of like an interesting situation to be in on a first date, like in somebody else's car, you know? Don't you think?
Yeah, I've been in a date in someone else's car.
A group of friends in their car on a drive-in?
Yeah.
On a first date?
Not on a drive-in, but on a long drive on a first date, yeah. Well, like, do you call it a date or like you're getting to know somebody in a mixed group and you're just traveling in a car?
I guess that's valid.
Yeah, just kind of like, you know?
Yeah. Okay, since I didn't really know this kid at all, I was extremely nervous how he was going to act, but at the same time, I was just so giddy to hang out with a celebrity boy. Ooh, how foolish I was. It was a cool summer evening, so all the car's windows were foggy. Before the movie even started, the kid took it upon himself to draw a bunch of dicks in the fog on the windows all over my friend's car. Like every window, very immature, but he was a teenage boy after all, so whatever. But oh no, it gets much worse. Also, when you draw those and then they go away, the next time it's foggy, they're there.
That's why I said greasy earlier.
Yeah, we learned that at Sam's Mountain House. Her mom sent us a picture and she was like, who drew dicks all over the window? Guess who it was? It wasn't me.
Can I guess who it was?
Yeah.
Your cousin?
No, it was Michael.
It was Michael?
Yes.
Oh my God.
The movie started and we were all settled comfortably into our spots to watch. He held me in his arms and he cuddled me, which in retrospect was a bit forward for a first date, but at the time I thought this was sweet.
That is so incredibly forward. Only teenagers do that.
I was going to say, it's like a teen thing. It's like what you think you're supposed to do. But then he asked me to sneak away from my friend's car to his car to hang out there for a bit. I told him no, but he persisted and kept trying to convince me. Thankfully, I stood my ground and he backed off. Then at one point, the car behind us accidentally turned on their headlights, efficiently ruining the view of the movie. That's the one thing, you can't have your lights on. They stayed on for a good minute, and this kid decided to stand up and pull his shorts down and moon all of the people in the row behind us until they turned their lights off.
Whatever happened to hi, hello, could you turn off your lights? Right to the bare ass as plan A? No, that's weird. That's freak behavior. After freak behavior.
We're talking full-fledged bare white ass. Oh my God, I was mortified. All my friends were giving me looks. And just when I thought it couldn't get any more uncomfortable, it got worse. Towards the end of the movie, the concession stand had made an announcement that they would be closing soon, which had interrupted the audio of the movie. In the middle of the announcement, he yelled at full volume, "Ayo, shut the fuck up," at the concession stand worker.
People whose instant reaction to do that that's like, if there wasn't enough red flags, I'd be like, oh, I could never hang out with you again. That's so embarrassing.
And before I sum this up, let me just reiterate the reason that I'm keeping this celebrity son anonymous is because our camper asked us to. Unless if it was on Patreon, we could have done the full name, but like here we are being asked to keep it anonymous. It's not for his own sake.
We're so Dumois.
Yeah, we're so Dumois. Never in my life have I ever been on a date with someone so blatantly disrespectful and immature. And thankfully, this is where the story ends because I clearly never wanted to talk to him or be around him anymore. Let this be a lesson to all you campers that just because someone is famous does not mean you need to get to know them. Well, he wasn't. His dad was. Let's get that clear. I am pleased to report that I've been happily married for 10 years to a man who treats me like an absolute queen and would never do anything to disrespect me. So I very much dodged a bullet by never giving that douchebag a second chance. Sincerely, the camper... oh my God, I thought it said whipping. Oh my God. The camper wiping dicks off of her friend's car cabin window in cabin 10. That was a mouthful, but wow.
Wait, 10 years ago? The band was more popular for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you were in it. Girl, who blames you? Like, if that was any of us, we all would have went on that date. You don't have to go date number 2, but like...
No, now you have this story that you share.
I get it. No one's going to be able to guess. There's so many bands. And it wasn't The Fray, so you're welcome.
Scary stories around the campfire.
Welcome back to Scary Stories, campers. Are you spooked? Are you scared? Are you mortified? You can find all that in this segment. If you want to be a part of this segment or another, just write in. You know where to go. I don't got to tell you again. We both have a scary story, correct?
We do.
Okay. Can I go first?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Camp Cuties. I thought that I would write in and share the most embarrassing moment of my entire life purely for your entertainment.
Thank you.
Thank you so. That's actually what we asked for.
It's literally all we're asking for, kindly. You understand.
Honestly, it's a community effort. You're really giving back to not only us, but to the larger masses. So thank you for your honesty and your vulnerability.
Yeah.
Picture it. The year is 2012. I'm 20 years old and I'm in a new blossoming relationship. After 6 months in, my boyfriend at the time's great-grandmother passed away. Being a supportive girlfriend, I, of course, attended the funeral festivities. I wouldn't call them festivities.
I wouldn't call them festivities either, but I get it. It was
What is this, a winter market? We buy like spice birds and chocolate mix?
With tickets.
Yeah, this is not a Ren fair. The funeral festivities. Actually, that's so funny. We should all start calling it that. You're a trendsetter, camper. At the wake, I stood towards the back of the room, trying to stay out of the way, but also remain present. It's important to note that being from Louisiana, every funeral that I'd ever been to prior to this one had been a Catholic funeral, where the services were very structured. Everyone was very quiet in the viewing room. That's like mostly the ones I've been to too.
Mm-hmm. I've been to a couple where they played their favorite music, which sometimes it's like AC/DC or like Led Zeppelin.
That's nice. I've never been to like a more like low-key funeral.
Yeah, I don't need mine to be so somber. You can cry when you get home, cry when you step outside. But when I'm there, I've got Cheetos in my coffin.
Who put them there? Not me.
Well, yeah, I requested that if you're around, you do it. Or someone. I'll leave a note. Sandwich will do it.
He will, if he's still alive, which I think at this point he will be.
Bury me in Cheetos. Sing it with me. Bury me in Cheetos.
What's her name? Pink and who?
Pink and yellow.
What's her daughter's name? What's her daughter's name? It's something funky, like unicorn or something.
Magenta?
I don't know. And then people would gather or congregate out in the lobby area of the funeral home to chat. So like she's saying, like, it's quiet in the viewing room.
Okay, yeah.
If you want to chat, go outside.
At the ones that she's been to.
Yes. Now, being in Georgia peaches, I was quite taken aback when everyone was just mingling and chatting in the same room as the deceased. Fast forward to the church service, which was off-site at the great-grandmother's childhood church. Picture a tiny, itsy-bitsy chapel with stained glass windows, maybe 10 pews on each side, no air conditioning, where half of the guests were standing outside due to the lack of space. So we're there now. I had absolutely planned to wait outside and let the immediate family be in the church during the service. However, as my boyfriend's dad came up walking towards me, I thought that maybe he was going to offer me the honor of sitting with the family. Instead, he asked me something that I have never, ever would have expected to hear come out of this man's mouth. Quote, "Will you film the service for us?"
Oh my good Lord. I have never heard of anybody. Have you heard of anybody filming a funeral service?
I don't need a tape, babe. I don't need Gam Gam's funeral tapes. Okay, I think there's enough footage.
I can fill in the blanks of what was said there, and I can go through my own healing journey. This is fucking weird.
So his wife then walks up and hands me an actual camcorder and tripod. How was I supposed to tell this man no? You can't.
You can't. It's his wishes.
Yeah, you were vulnerable. He's vulnerable. You had to say yes. I get it. So here I am standing up at the back of the church trying to figure out how to use this camera. Was I supposed to zoom in and out of Gigi's casket? Was I supposed to do a swinging view of the crowd? I did my best, and now I'm no Spielberg, but just as I was getting the hang of it, I shit you not, just as they go into a prayer, this camcorder starts beeping so loudly. I mean so loud. And the whole screen has a low battery icon across it. I panic. I'm fumbling with the camera so ferociously that I knock over the entire tripod. All heads snap back to me. I'm on the ground trying to pick up the thing, and I'm throwing up a small wave and mouthing, I'm so sorry, and backing away slowly out of the chapel. I literally ran outside, propped the tripod against the church wall, and got into my car and left praying that God and Gigi would both forgive me. Signed, Camp Cinematographer in Cabin 6.
This is a nightmare.
No, you had to leave. The camera was dead, and so was your time there.
And so was the woman in the casket.
Poor Gigi.
That is so weird, though, because it's like, why would... hey, you were trying to do a favor, but why would the dad not just put the tripod up, press record?
Because he wanted those swooping crowd views.
That's fucking weird. You want to see all your friends mourning? You want to take a tally of who's there and who didn't make it?
I think he's like, hey, like, you can't... 5 years down the road, I was there. And then he's like, pull the tapes. Pull the tape, like literally pull the tapes.
Maybe it's because it was small that he's like, oh, I'm going to send a copy to this to everyone who's outside since they can't see it.
Maybe there was an extended family in Idaho that couldn't make the journey, and they're like, we'll tape it.
That's weird.
Well, what if it was Gigi's sister and she's too old to travel, but she was heartbroken and wanted to be a part of it?
Okay, well, now you're making me feel like a fool.
Well, either way, hire somebody. Don't ask your son's girlfriend and give her a low battery camera.
Yeah, also charge the battery, please.
Well, he didn't know. He's borrowing it from a friend from the dealership. Kia. Yeah. Do you have a scary story for us?
I do have a scary story for you, matter of factly.
Yeah.
Hey, happy counselors. I have a bounce house story that will leave your jaw on the floor and maybe your shorts.
Ooh, I love that.
The year was 2014. I was freshly 21 and usually could be found with my friends slamming kamikaze shots and $2 slices at the local pub near campus. Every year, our university made a big to-do in the quad during homecoming, which was always so much fun. The local radio station would have their DJ playing jams. There were food trucks, which really are only pop-ups. And there was an inflatable obstacle course, and of course, the bounce house. Because why not try to put a bunch of probably drunk college kids in an inflatable monstrosity? What could go wrong? Yeah, I feel like we're like a little too old for a bounce house, don't you? Like at a college campus. I get the obstacle course is fun. I think, have you ever seen the ones where they do the axe throwing with the thing? They're like giant Velcro things. I would do that. I would trust you with that. Not the real axes. I'm sorry, I'm not taking you axe throwing ever unless it's inflatable. But a bounce house, what are we doing?
I would love it.
I can't. My innards, like, my organs are just like loose. Like they just shift.
If you gave me 3 Michelob Ultras and a shot and to get in the bounce house with your friends, I'd be shaking my yabos. I would take all my clothing off and pour olive oil all over it and say, who wants to bear wrestle? And then the police would be called. They're like, this is a college, what is it called? Quad.
College quad. Yeah, get out.
Sorry, I'm done.
For context, I'm a gay man and I had only recently come out. The freedom of college and the use of Grindr really made it easy for me to explore the possibilities. Basically, I was in my hoe phase. That day, I was at the local pub with a few of my friends throwing back shots and letting my inner feral hog, as Zachariah would say. By the time we made it to the quad, I was pretty sloshed. And who do I see? Let's call him Kyle. Kyle and I had a few mutual friends and ended up at a few parties together, but we never really got to know each other. We Snapchatted while bored in class, but never went much further than that. But what I did know was Kyle was so fine. He kind of looked like Dylan O'Brien, but had the questionable zest of Shawn Mendes, if you know what I mean.
No, I got it. That's such a solid description.
According to our mutuals, he was straight. According to the kamikaze shots, I was going to test that theory. Once I got near the DJ booth, we immediately locked eyes. Looking back at it now, it was probably my obnoxious scream singing to Miley's We Can't Stop that would grab anyone's attention, but that's besides the point. He was standing with another guy near the bounce house, which was usually never used. But at this particular moment, one girl was inside doing backflips and other impressive tricks.
He's like drunk and clapping.
He's like, what other tricks are you doing in there? The girl knew how to hold attention. I left my friends on the dead grass dance floor and went right up to Kyle. We chatted for a few, but while I was talking to him, his eyes kept going back to the girl behind me with her yabos flailing around in the bounce house next to us. I can like see it in my head. Like she's in slow-mo, but everything else is like normal speed. Okay, so what did I decide to do, my dear counselors? I thought I would become Simone fucking Biles of the quad that day. Mind you, I hadn't been on a trampoline in well over a decade, but how hard could it be to do a backflip, right? Possessed by the power of bottom shelf vodka and the hunger of alpha male attention. Camper, this is award winning. I ran to the bounce house entrance and slid my drunken body under those weird flappy curtains.
Yeah, it's like always so tight and low to the ground. Once you get in there, it really opens up. But
yeah, you have to like squeeze through it to get in.
Yeah, and it's always awkward.
I went a little too fast. The waist of my shorts had caught the Velcro of the curtain.
I was just thinking like how that's so possible.
But my body kept going. A chilly breeze tickled my lower half. Yep. This thing had pulled my shorts and underwear all the way down around my ankles.
Was the feet still out of that thing too?
Probably. The full description wasn't there, but he's just like fully on display in the quad. I somewhat blacked out between the alcohol and embarrassment, but what I remember is that everybody nearby was laughing, maybe cheering. I don't know.
Because he probably did like a running dive.
Yeah, and he probably
his dummy
loud.
thick ass got stuck in the hole.
Because it's built for children.
Yeah, that hole is tight.
Dear God.
It is.
While I scrambled to rip my shorts off the Velcro and back up to my waist, there was Kyle, less than 4 feet away from me, witnessing the whole thing. My friends tried to coax me out from the other side of the bounce house's netted walls.
Not coax you out like a feral cat with treats.
They were
come here.
In my head, he's probably so drunk that the friends know him well enough. I'm sorry, Camper. The friends are probably like, we got to get him out of here. This is not going to go well. He's trying to compete with this girl and her flailing yabos, and he hasn't been.
There?
She's still in there.
He's naked in there,
and she's not helping.
Well, what was she supposed to do? She's in the middle of her routine,
and she's in slow mo. She could be going really slow.
Yeah.
Okay, my friends tried to coax me out from the other side, but I knew I couldn't run now. I was mortified, but I had to redeem myself. Mm-hmm. Second, I stood up. I launched myself into the air and attempted a front flip. Big mistake. As soon as I hit the surface, I felt my ankle twist in a way no ankle should.
This is like immediately after too.
A sharp pain shot through me. Well, it's kind of like, let me distract what just happened with something really cool. Like, let's give him something to talk about. And he thought it was gonna go well. It didn't go well. I tried to play it cool, like maybe if I just smiled through the agony, no one would notice that I was not a professional. But everyone noticed. Are you okay? Someone yelled from the sidelines. Oh. I look over, of course, it's Kyle, looking all concerned and beautiful, which kind of made things 10 times worse. I lied and I said I was fine, even though I was pretty sure I wasn't fine. My ankle throbbed, and I was sinking deeper into the inflatable floor, which seemed to be mocking me at this point. I tried to stand up, but the second I put weight on my foot, I fell. You know how people say they want to sink into the ground and disappear when they're embarrassed? Well, there's nothing quite like a bounce house that makes sure that doesn't happen. Instead of gracefully vanishing, I flopped over sideways, legs tangled, wobbling around like a baby deer. How long could this train wreck last? And he's like really drunk at this point. 2 event volunteers had to help me hop up, and I'm pretty sure my face was redder than the giant inflatable house. The worst part, I had to be escorted to the Camp Health Center on a golf cart.
But we had like yellow lights
while Kyle watched.
No.
Oh,
I'm fine.
I did end up going to the hospital with a sprained ankle and a fractured ego. But it wasn't all bad. I guess Kyle likes what the Velcro had revealed, because 1 week later, I was in his bed proving my theory right. Thanks for reliving this embarrassing tale with me, counselors. The Bounce House Baddie and Kevin 69.
Period.
Bitch, that story was crazy.
Yeah, and guess what? It was all worth it.
It was all worth it. And let me just say, when I opened this email, I looked at the length of it and I took a breath and I was like, whew. But something told me that it was going to be worth it. So thank you, Camper.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Incredible and really hilarious. Wow, 2014.
Yeah, well, if you want to be a part of the show and submit stories just like that, we would love that. You could write into camcounselorspodcast.com or camcounselorspod@gmail.com, and we might just pick your story for the show. Thank you so much for listening. As always, please rate and review our show 5 stars wherever you're listening. Share it with a friend. Grow the camp. Let us know your cabin numbers and come back next week and the week after. So much more fun to be had here, correct?
Correct.
And with that being said, lights out, campers.